Did you call the word? It is not business. You call him an. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? All right, that's what you say. Nobody digging into your shit. That little kid, you call him a little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act.
That's what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
As I'm sure you have no doubt seen circulating around the dark annals of the internet, this video of Shiloh Hendrix, crazy racist lady who felt that it was appropriate to repeatedly refer to a young child as the N-word while holding her toddler son in her arms. Unfortunately, the story didn't get much better from there. Take a look.
The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around it, it's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds. People are fed up with it. That's what you're seeing in this story. People are just fed up with it.
Now, until recently, in order to get away with some of the commentary that Matt Walsh is not so subtly utilizing, you had to meet in secret, usually wearing a white sheet and a pointy hat or a red armband somewhere. Society had ostracized people with views like that, I think appropriately. Matt Walsh tries to defend this terrible, terrible video, A, by suggesting that this child who was 5, 6 years old was somehow older and that would justify the use of it, and B, by saying this is a free speech issue. This certainly is not a free speech conversation. Shiloh Hendrix should not be punished by the government for using a racial slur, because that would be protected speech. However, that don't mean society has to be accepting of blatant and disgusting racism. But at least Matt Walsh was using dog whistles. If you go to her crowdfunding page, you will see, which I don't encourage you to do. Please don't go give it any more attention. I did it for you. You're welcome. But you see all kind of disgusting speech, and you see people donating $14 or $88 or $1,488 as a coded white supremacist message. At this point, the sheets have come off completely, and this sort of societal erosion that has occurred during the Trump administration has taken full root in our government and in our culture. And if you didn't believe racism still exists anymore, she's almost raised $1 million, as you are aware of. But wait, it gets worse.
So I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything that you've just said. She's just a racist. End, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
well, it is about her
coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
Mm-hmm. I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am.
The sheets have come off, and the roaches have crawled out from under the rug in which they were hiding, because now this woman clearly feels that she will be socially accepted even after the fact that she proclaims on national TV that she uses the N-word regularly and sees nothing wrong with it, and that she is a free speech warrior for white people who have been oppressed and disenfranchised from the ability to say the N-word freely. And the panel conversation gets awkward. If you go back and look at some of those faces, especially the other white lady standing beside her, I thought that was kind of priceless. And to Piers Morgan's credit, he absolutely eviscerates her, and he calls her what she is, a disgusting racist who uses the N-word regularly, apparently. But the point is, the dog whistles have stopped. They have stopped using dog whistles, and they have just got out gigantic megaphones and are proclaiming from the rooftops that they are racist human beings, at least against black people. And you come up with your own conclusion as to why you think they find it socially acceptable. With the white supremacists on the crowdfunding website, the Shiloh Hendrix referring to a young child repeatedly in front of her children, and while knowing she's being recorded as N-word, society has eroded.
In response to those anti-Israel protests on college campuses, the Justice Department announcing the formation of a multi-agency task force aimed to combat anti-Semitism in the U.S. My next guest says this is the, quote, first step in giving life to President Trump's renewed commitment to ending anti-Semitism in our schools.
Everyone in this country saw what happened the last 3 or 4 years. Jewish Americans were ignored by the federal government, ignored by local officials. Jewish American students couldn't go to school without being harassed. It happened across this country. Pam Bondi has created a task force to combat anti-Semitism, and I'm privileged to head that task force. What that means, Anita, is that we're going to use every tool in the toolbox, civil, criminal, activities to stop the harassment of Jewish students. That means we're going to take criminal action. We're going to cut off funding. We're going to do everything, and we're formulating that right now.
You speak out against the Gaza genocide, you're labeled an anti-Semite, and the full weight of the federal government is on your ass like white on rice. You call a 5-year-old the N-word in a park, and you become a millionaire. That add up to you? Look, true anti-Semitism in this country and across the globe is a real and pervasive problem. But criticizing Israel is not in and of itself anti-Semitic. And the hypocrisy on the right wing has reached levels of self-parody. Now, I am a black man, for those of you who are visually impaired, and I've been black a long time. And like with many black and brown people, there came a moment in my life early on, I wasn't 5 years old, but early on, in which the world let me know that my life would be different as a consequence of the fact that I was born black. I would have an additional hurdle to overcome because of that fact. My moment was subtle when I was younger, and there were many moments thereafter that were less so, but my initial moment was subtle. Unfortunately for the child that Shiloh Hendrix decided to racially abuse because he was playing in the park while black, his moment was not subtle. His moment got national attention. And the perpetrator of this heinous racist act against him has become a millionaire and is lauded as some sort of elite level culture warrior among some on the right. Now, this administration, the same administration that has created this anti-Semitism task force and has endorsed these seemingly non-ending congressional hearings on combating anti-Semitism, is the same administration that's snatching people up off the street and yeeting them across the border to prisons in random countries because they have tattoos and are the wrong skin color. Now, I'm not saying that we do not need task force dedicated to combating anti-Semitism. I'm not saying that we don't need congressional hearings figuring out solutions at the federal level to anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is a real problem and pervasive in this country. We have neo-Nazis everywhere, some of whom dine at Mar-a-Lago with the President of the United States of America. So it is a real problem. I am saying, though, where the hell is my congressional hearing? Where the hell is my task force? Because apparently we have not fixed old school level racism that caused a kid to get called the N-word 57 times in the park.